So what are the two non-technical skills that help me become a better software engineer? Stay tuned. Let's talk about the two non-technical skills that help me become a better software engineer. Before we start, if you don't know who I am, my name is Alex and I am a senior software engineer based in New York City. I started my coding journey by attending a coding bootcamp school. In this channel, I not only create coding tutorials, but I also create content to help aspiring developers become software engineers. If topics like this interest you, I highly recommend hitting that subscribe button. So back to the topic, what are the two non-technical skills that help me become a better software engineer? The first is learning how to articulate and explain your code. There's a saying that the best way to learn is to teach. I found this especially to be true when creating my YouTube channel. When I was creating my coding tutorials, I realized a lot of the times the processing and understanding what's happening in my head. Practicing how to articulate my code with my peers has definitely made me a better software engineer, and it has helped me really push my ideas forward in my company. When you're able to articulate your thoughts to other people and do it in a more digestible manner, people have a better understanding of what you're trying to say as opposed to just trying to ramble about code in some meaningless way. I find that a lot of junior developers fall into this category of not being able to articulate their code. Especially when I start pairing with them, I notice there's a tendency for junior developers to code in a brute force manner. What I mean by that is junior developers try to do it one way, and if that way doesn't work, they try it another way. If that way doesn't work, they try it another way without really thinking about why they're doing what they're doing. When I notice that the brute force method is happening, I kind of take a pause with my junior developer and ask them, hey, can you explain your thoughts here? Why are you doing what you're doing? And once they take about 5 to 10 minutes to really register what they're trying to do and how they should do it, they end up actually doing it the right way. And being able to articulate your thoughts of why you're coding the way you're doing is going to help you become a better software engineer. Your company wants you to become a developer that really puts thought into what you're doing and why you're doing it the way you are. And being able to just comprehend and understand what other people are saying and kind of come up with responses for that will definitely make you a better software developer. The second skill that helped me become a better software engineer is being able to pause during mid-sentences. I used to have this tendency to ramble when I didn't know what to say, and a lot of times it would just be words to fill up the noise that potentially might have been an awkward silence, but in reality, the only person that really notices that awkward silence is going to be you. Being able to pause in between sentences is really good for you to really regather your thoughts about the continuation of what you want to say. But even right now, when I'm talking, I generally take a little bit of a pause here and then continue the conversation again to figure out what I want to say next. I think there's a misconception that if you talk really fast and with facts, then you're going to get your point across and you're going to be well respected. A lot of examples that I've seen of people doing this is on YouTube with Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, and even Jordan Peterson, where when they're debating with other people who have opposing views, they talk very, very quickly and just spit out facts nonstop. And they really don't give the opposing view a great opportunity to rebuttal. And at the end of the day, even though people like Ben Shapiro may win the argument, it kind of defeats the purpose of having a civil conversation. At the end of the video, I noticed this feeling of feeling sorry for the opposing view because they really didn't get an opportunity to talk, or it just made them feel very silly. I talk about this because you can't really use that same strategy in the workplace because first of all, these are your coworkers and colleagues, not people that you're trying to debate with. If anything, you may have disagreements about certain topics, but at the end of the day, you're trying to work together to solve a problem. So being able to pause and gather your thoughts instead of just rambling and talking really fast the way that you do will help you register like, hey, am I being a little too offensive when I say the words like this? Or hey, am I being clear about what I'm trying to do when writing the code that I'm doing? A lot of times these two skills are very underappreciated in the tech workspace because there's this idea that developers are always just coding, putting their headphones on and not having conversations. But in reality, you're going to have conversations with your coworkers, whether it be product managers, your CEO, your CTO, and you're going to go through these meetings when you have sprint planning, retroactives, and just normal conversation with people outside of your department. As someone who highly values technical skills and letting the work speak for itself, I started to become more appreciative of the soft skills that people had. Conversations in the workplace is super crucial, and being able to just interact with your coworkers in a more meaningful way will really get your point across, whether you need to push a project, whether you need delays, or just be proactive about what you're trying to do. I highly encourage aspiring and junior developers when first learning how to code to think about what you're doing. Don't just write code and expect things to work out. Take a pause and think about why you're writing the code that you're doing. This will help you become a better software engineer, in my opinion, for the long term. The brute force method of trying one way, it doesn't work, trying another way, it doesn't work, and then the third way, making it work, is not the best way to learn how to code, in my opinion, because it doesn't reinforce any reason why you code the way that you do. Lastly, these two non-technical skills will not only make you a better coder, but a better coworker in your workspace. So I highly recommend practicing it every day. If you found this video really helpful, I would appreciate a thumbs up. It would really help a small channel like mine. If you want to see more video and content like this, I would highly recommend subscribing to this channel. I'll be creating as much content as I can on a weekly basis. Until then, Tech Rally out.